Hello everyone and welcome back to more BTS America's action here. We're in the semifinals. It's Complexity Gaming going against Team Imagine here, and it's in game number 2. Imagine already up one match. Complexity need a win here to stay alive. This is KotLGuy for Beyond the Summit. I'm going to be joined by Blaze remotely here. Blaze, welcome back, my friend. Complexity, they got to be able to shake off that game 1 and kind of change their game a bit. And it looks like this time they're not going to have access to the Wisp, though. Yeah, it didn't work out for them the last couple of times. Maybe it's best they just do a bit of a change. Would you agree?
I think a change in playstyle would certainly help them, but Imagine also want to know exactly what they're going up against. The Wisp presents some difficulty that they're not willing to go up against, but this is actually really interesting. An immediate statement of intent that they can, and if allowed, will go the same strategy, at least the basic aspect of the Naga Siren. Another key aspect was the Lina core. There were 2 Linked Spheres made just to prevent the Laguna Blade from connecting, so obviously they were very fearful of Shibi's Lina. But end of the day, the Naga Siren is what hits the field first pick. Lina gets banned out, and now they have, of course, the flexibility of running this as a 4-position Naga or a carry.
But Tusk is also out there still, and so is Bounty Hunter. I would imagine Complexity have to harp on one of these picks. Both very, very top tier. And I want to say as well, they're a team that has toyed with the Tusk Techies lineup in the past. And I don't know if it's something worth going for now. Naga typically not one of the best people for Techies to go against. Extra Illusions to rid the minds and a fantastic gem candidate already. But they will at least grab the Tusk. Now, they could always pair this up with an Undying. Here it is! Alright, so Complexity, a team that's known to do a lot of aggressive work in the off lane at the start. They're going to get to do a bit of it here and now, Blaze, with the Tusk Undying duo.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential with it. Just sapping away the base strength of the Naga Siren will help out a lot and allow them to be very aggressive. But I think that Team Imagine are going to pull kind of a fake out here. I think that they're going to threaten the Naga Siren, and they're still going to give Mineski Fanboy the Storm. I think that's going to be the main point of emphasis there. So if they can get a safe lane Storm Spirit, and supported by Naga and another, and then Shibi can pick up something that's very high damage and gank-oriented, let's say a Templar Assassin for the mid lane, then they're going to be in a really good spot. I would say that they're probably going to 4th pick TA, they're going to run a ranged support to go with the Naga, and then Jenkins has a lot of options still in the pool, maybe a Clockwork.
I mean, we saw yesterday what he could do on the Storm, and I'm just going to call him Francis. I was so enticed, by the way. I went and I checked out his stream and everything, and I got to watch him play a bit because I felt like that showing was just like one of those very special performances from a player that, you know, they can happily put in their portfolio. And he did a really great job raying it out, splitting the pressure in their matchup against High Council Wizards and Priests. That here he is now getting to reprieve the role, and I agree with you. I don't think we're going to be banking on that one position Naga again. But Complexity, you know, if They are a team that have shown that it's preparation, and something Swindle was boasting a lot about in their recent appearance on Around the Horn, or you know, Toffee's version of Around the Horn. He went into a lot about having preparation strategy coming into a series, so they had to have seen what they can do with this Storm and that kind of split pressure, and I'm sure it's something they're considering here forward.
Yeah. And I think just in general, they know how to play a really active style that takes away time from their opponents. Time where they're trying to scramble around and deal with certain things, deal with certain threats across the map. And yeah, one thing that Jenkins told me specifically is that Francis is making a lot of the shot calls, especially in the game that you and I cast earlier where they took out the High Council, and that was such an intense situation with all the ratting that had to be going on, otherwise they'd be just steamrolled in a full 5-on-5, and he was making a ton of calls. Obviously he was making a ton of plays. Like, this guy really knows how to exploit the map, especially when he's a hero that hasn't been countered. And so far I would say the Storm Spirit hasn't been countered. Tusk does have disables. They'll maybe look at a Lion here for Complexity, but with the Silencer Anti-Mage banned out at the very least, they're going to have to beat the Storm in the laning phase, because that's going to be where he's at his weakness. Otherwise the Ball Lightning is going to add a lot. Now, beyond that, the Templar Assassin, I was thinking it was going to be like a Templar Assassin 4th pick, a Clockwork 3rd pick for Team Imagine. Now the TA will be sniped by Complexity, so we're going to be seeing a bit of a different style from them as far as what Shibi takes to the mid lane, if anything. But the Clockwork still stands strong. I mean, Storm Clockwork, a great duo, and obviously both Francis and Jenkins can do a lot of work with the combo.
Yep. Could see that third ringer from time to time. The AA, I only like to pull up as a potential pick when I happen to see Clock and Storm together on a team. And you know what? He's got some usefulness here. Undying's rip would be kind of nullified, and we know one of them are going to be getting a mech, and that would become pretty useless. So I wouldn't really put it past them. Plus, I love the Chilling Touch along with Naga and her illusions. I think that's swell. We'll see if it's something they do consider. On complexity side, yeah, the early commitment to the TA here. And now they know they need to get someone as a very selfless support. Do you consider something like maybe a disruptor? You get your silence for your Storm Spirit plus the glimpse potential, and you know Silencer's not there and available. Or maybe a Skywrath Mage. Where do you go for complexity for maybe that number 5?
Well, probably Winter Wyvern. I think makes the most sense here. Just the ultimate disable's really strong. There you go.
Nicely done. Yeah, agree. Winter Wyvern works good. Long range. Splinter Blast helps with the illusions, and of course the frickin' curse would just be wonderful here. Great lockdown for your Storm Spirit, and even can do some work on a Naga. It catches her out. But now we look back to Team Imagine's side, and we'll see. Maybe the AA, they already have the Naga as kind of that position 4. Now they look for their own 5 here. Or outside of that, anything kind of standing out to you, Blaze? You got to have someone who can kind of withstand that early assault, the Tuscan dying, someone maybe to deal with the Tombstone a bit.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, there's a lot of heroes that can put out some of that pressure. Phantom Lancer, but no, I think Storm's going to be the safe lane. I'm going to go with that. They can roll swap Shibby into the safe lane, but I'm almost positive that we are going to be seeing Francis on the Storm. So it just depends on how they want to respond to that. I think they'll probably pick up a support that can bring some right-click here. Obviously, Dazzle has some merit, but that was banned out. Witch Doctor, I still think, is a really strong support against Tusk Undying. So I would say that, yeah, we could see like a 5-position Witch Doctor, and then we'd be looking for Shibby's mid, or they could switch it around, depending on if they want to really show their cards just yet.
So, yeah, something that could take a good advantage of the roll-in. Another good call from Blaze, man, the Witch Doctor, and I was right there with you. Cass could do so much work with the easy roll forward from Tusk Undying, so those plans could be quickly halted and allow them to kind of step back and not, worry too much about the heavy pressure that comes from them. Plus, he offers a bit of sustain himself with the help of the restoration. Just seems very balanced overall, and pure damage from the ward doesn't really care too much about that Cold Embrace from Pesky Wyvern. In fact, if he Cold Embrace someone under a ward, they're still just going to keep eating all the damage. It almost works out better for them. So they have great lockdown there to add on top of it. And now that means I imagine wanted to hold out what we're banking on being their Shibby pick. Didn't want to kind of give away that the Storm could possibly be mid until it's the absolute last grab. Complexity, already know they're committing here for the TA. What are we looking for them to kind of round things out? It looks like it has to be what? The Ziz hero, the farmer here. He's been going for PL in the past. Is it worthy of the Illusion on Illusion Wars here, Blaze? Or is it something else he needs to consider? Ember is also still out there if he wants to give it another spin. But I don't know. What are you thinking?
It's interesting. They banned out the Huskar here. I mean, there is a decent amount of magic damage, but I feel like they could have managed the Huskar decently. It almost implies that they're looking for another intelligence hero for the mid as well. So they're looking for a mid intelligence hero and the safe lane Storm. Shoot, that's a tough call. But for now, I think Ziz could be looking at like a Clinks or something. Could be pretty strong. Obviously, synergy with the physical damage output, the silence. Potentially, if he goes for an Orchid, that kind of build-up could be pretty solid. So I'd say Clinks makes sense, but there's a number of agility heroes that could fit the bill.
Well, the time for waiting is over here. So we start dipping into the reserve time complexity. No, they need a winning 5 here to just stay alive at BTS Americas. We'll have to see what the Ziz is going to be. Yeah, Phantom Lancer. Used to be a big lone druid player back in the day, but I still think it really has still found a home yet. Outside of that, as we look over complexities, yeah, PL, Ember, a Sven, but that was in conjunction with the Wisp, the Jug. Okay. All right, something he loved to play back during the Jug Troll Sniper era. Mask of Madness, Phase Boots, Quick Time Roche. All this is still feasible, even though it's not as, quote, imba as it used to be. How do you feel about the Jug?
I think it's pretty strong. I mean, they know they're going to be under a lot of fire from spells. They need that spin to deal with it. I don't like Juggernaut against Clockwork as much because the cog knockback really hurts the ability for Juggernaut to cast any spells in the laning phase.
10 seconds
But overall, I think that this hero can do a lot. The physical damage with Omni Slash works, and he can
5
Deathball a bit. With the healing ward, the Cold Embrace, they can the Soul Rip, they can really sustain a push. They can do Roshan. They've got a lot of good tricks up their sleeve in that regard. So I think Juggernaut's pretty solid, and we'll see what they can do with it. On the other hand, Imagine going for their last pick here. Man.
The nice thing for them is they have the Naga who can just split and mitigate the damage from the Omni Slash a little bit. But the last grab is going to be the Queen of Pain. And what we imagine will be that mid lane Queen of Pain for Shibby. That looks to be the case. I'm curious if Complexity were kind of, you know, onto that or not. So Queen of Pain.
I don't think so. They banned out Earthshaker for their last, so it kind of makes me think that they weren't so sure about the Naga. They at least, maybe they were more afraid of the Naga being core, and so they just banned with that mindset, even though they knew the alternative.
So now we see it. TA versus Queen of Pain in your mid lane matchup here. She has the Shadow Strike to help a bit with the refraction, but overall, TA should be able to work pretty good with the CS, though Queen of Pain not one to get caught out. And I don't think there's going to be too many rotations from Complexity if they put more emphasis on just being successful with this potential dual off lane.
5 seconds
I'm curious to see if the response from Imagine is to be down there to kind of prevent them from getting what they want, or they themselves moving out and applying their own bit of pressure on the other lanes.
Prepare for battle.
So we're going to see, starting things off, a TP picked up from both sides here. I'm assuming a support bot, Juggernauts, but either way, they keep an eye on Jenkins. There's not many places you can hide the ward anyways, but he's still trying to be sneaky about it, and they're just going to go ahead and keep an eye on him as he makes his way back. Probably just goes back here and then wards up on the cliff.
Yeah. Unless he's like, oh, I can go down the mid lane again and maybe find it. No, he's going to take probably your advice. And for now, just kind of scout out and see the rune, and there's going to be the ward going down. They come back towards the bottom side now, but look at this. Complexity have 4 ready to go, and we could see a head-on clash here. Quickly the pings go out as they are scouted. Nooch looking to retreat and run away. And CoL are not going to be able to get the catch onto any of them. Do they have wards on hand, though? Where are Complexity's wards? They don't have any right now. It looks like, did they already plant them? There's one up top that they already planted to see if the offlaner was kind of walking on over, but where's the other one? Am I missing something?
I mean, you don't have to buy a pair, so maybe he just bought one.
Just one ward at the start of the game? That's unheard of in Dota. Oh.
Never been done before in the history of Dota. But, I mean, one thing to mention is that it's really important for the Tusk and the Undying to both be tanky. I've seen, like, fluff and stuff running Undying with, like, full consumables, but when I play Undying, I look for, like, at least a Stout Shield, if not a Magic Stick, to really at least stand a little bit in the fray and to survive a little bit better. So it seems like they're just getting a little bit greedier. One ward will do for now. They'll probably pick the other one up pretty soon. Let's check the shop. I should have done that earlier. No, they do still have an Observer ward.
Yeah.
It's just hiding out somewhere.
It's bought now. It just got on the courier and it's heading out. So they wanted to wait a little bit. Got it. There it is. Way 2's going to be snagging it on up, and they'll be able to at least get a little bit of vision here on the bottom.
Stupendous.
Definitely on the rune for sure. So he'll probably put it right up here on the cliff side. So at least the center will have a little bit of attention on where the rune's going to be popping up. And did they make some sort of adjustment? It looks like possibly so, Blaze. Shibby's now back on the bottom lane, and they put Francis on the mid lane for a storm.
Alright, so it seems to be apparent that they're more comfortable with the matchup that is present here. Oh, actually, no. There's a better reason for it. It's not even because the Storm is better in mid. It's because the Queen of Pain is one of the best heroes against Tusk. You talked about Tusk techies. My favorite counterpick is just a safe lane solo Queen of Pain, where essentially she only farms as much as an offlaner would, but she is able to survive everything that is thrown at her. Level 1 Blink, counter Snowball really hard.
Oh yeah, huge range, and there's no way the Snowball would be able to catch up, and it's a very good point and something that I imagine have recognized and are adapting to already. Mid lane, early harassment comes out from your Wyvern. He just goes right into that first Arctic Burn, which, as we all know, could at least do up to about a half of your life in damage if you're able to catch all the shots here, which Way 2 pretty much does. Now he'll eat a Tango, head backward towards the top lane, and we'll just hope that Swindle will just get the benefit from that early start. And you can already see it. 6 and 4 CS to Storm's 1. He gets that head start, and we'll see how long he's going to be able to hold on to it.
Boom! There it goes.
Yep. Observer, we're already on the Radiant Ancients, so this is our Dire Ancients. So this is going to be for 7 full minutes unstackable, which is a huge aspect of TA's progression. I mean, some TAs even skill for this just to make sure that they can farm those Ancients with a ton of Psyblades. And Swindle's unfortunately missing on last hits on the mid as well, just uphill. So a lot of things going against them right now. But top lane, they might still get the first blood. They need one more hit. The movement speed isn't there.
Yep. Oh, he even walks back to the back end and gets bumped by the cogs, which forces 2 extra tower hits plus the mana gone. I think Jenkins has got to be pretty happy about that, but he will have to go through his salve. And he just needs to kind of keep a head count as far as when Way2 could be back with another Arctic Burn, because it shows that slow, and the spin from Ziz is very, very good.
So we're going to see down bottom some pressure coming out on Nusham. He's the Naga Siren without any real items, so has to be careful against the level 2 Undying Tusk. That's not a situation where you're going to be caught out against. Luckily, they still have the Witch Doctor behind him, and as you mentioned before, that brings a lot of firepower when it comes to those kind of off-the-lane engagements.
Undying tries to flirt with them a bit in contention for their pull-through, but he does not feel comfortable kind of going toe-to-toe with both supports here, and I think Complexity do have to start feeling like this bottom lane isn't quite paying off as what we were committing for with our 1-2 in the draft. So they'll just have to do their best to contest, and Undying, who is going back to make a stack, is going to get a rude awakening here that this will be all for no effort. Props to Imagine for getting the quick ward down, and did Swindle scale accordingly. Did not put any points into meld here. Just went with the Q and the E build up on the Templar Assassin.
Yeah. And yeah, if he goes for like the 404 build, no meld, it's all about farming, and that farm is not going to be an option. But I think he's seeing now that the stack failed, and he's probably saying, I'll try to do it myself with this illusion, and if that fails, then I know exactly what's up. So he'll then alter his plans as far as farming. But yeah, right now, Complexity really aren't getting much done with this Undying. This is a hero that really wants to find kills or at least suppress a lane, and right now Shibby is fine at 15 and 6. The supports are getting all these pulls off. Like, Witch Doctor's pulled twice now. He's up to level 3. Like, things are looking a lot better for Imagine just with this passive laning phase.
Yeah, and they almost brought Jenkins down, but now we see Jenkins. He's able to get a successful pull into the lane. He's getting up there in levels, closer to level 5. And he's got respectable CS, but they're not able to get him down. And now this pull is going to be huge for him. So they're even, you know, breaking out even in this top lane. Working out well for Imagine, at least at the start. And you know, when your head's not fully in the game and you have to worry about stuff like your stacks being blocked and stuff, that just takes away from your laning performance a little bit. And then we'll have to see how much repercussions could come from it for now, because Storm is looking to make a catch-up game at 12 and 3, still below Swindle's big 25 and 11. What about the stacks, though? They have stacks, Blaze, waiting for the Storm.
And you look at the Storm skill build, I actually love this. We're seeing that Francis is actually going only 1 point in Remnant for now, because all he's doing is casting Remnant to add the Overload trigger. Doesn't really even care about the Remnant itself, so he's getting the 10 extra mana every time he casts that spell, because he's keeping it level 1. And maybe I've just not been noticing it, but I have not seen other Storms do this, and it actually seems like it should be something that almost every Storm does.
Well, it's just all of the different trend. You remember for a while there, Sumail was one big advocate and showing off about not getting the Vortex at all and just doing the huge damage output. And then just to each their own. Oh, bottom lane, though, Z-Freak eating a lot of the damage. We'll be able to sidestep. Shibby's going to be forced to blink back and away. But that just kind of feels like Complexity getting a bit, you know, itchy to try to make a fight break out, or at least bait in something from Imagine. They're not going to be able to get it. Z-Freak's going to be really wounded from that strike and is going to have to wait it out. Finally pop the salve. And look at this. Imagine knowing the tombstone's down, maybe they look to push on forward. But as they roll in, it looks like already Complexity are in a pretty deep position. Nusham looking to commit, though. Gets the snare off. Follow from Shibby. Long Coconut will connect. Snowball will slow them down, and they still go in, and they still get the job done. Z-Freak will get dropped. Nusham able to walk away from trouble. MJW considers to turn and fight, but now he'll eat a lot of extra damage. And it's going to be Team Imagine, who will draw first blood in the bottom lane.
Good stat build from Shibby here. Double null tally, going for the treads, probably Ags next, and he just gets so much raw HP that it's extremely difficult to take him down without putting pretty much everything on top of him. we are seeing Francis doing some really good, efficient farming of the jungle. Not hitting the big stack just yet, but just clearing out the mud golems and then moving on and getting the haste runes. So he's still trading actively. He's finally hit level 6, which is obviously the most important thing for a Storm in the laning phase. But I'm curious actually how he ends up building. If he goes for the Bloodstone opener, if he finds value in the Silence. I think Silence is pretty good against Juggernaut, so maybe the Orchid will be the pick.
I'm curious as well if there's going to be those kind of opportunities when he can get catches with Orchids and quickly take them out. If Complexity decide to be more of a unit when they move through, which could very well happen when you have a Tusk on your team, then maybe that solo pick potential might not be there. So I could see a reason for both sides. It's just whether when he decides to make a commitment to either the Soul Ring or not. For now, just makes his stack even bigger. It looks like he's got a buffed up wand on the way. And he'll start with the basics for now. We'll check back with Jenkins, who's starting to get closer and closer to that level 6. Still needs more time, though. He's getting about 600 gold, but now it's going to be bottom lane, where we might see a retort here from Complexity. Way2 makes the rotation down. They have a smoke, and they start rolling deep here in hopes of maybe getting Shibby or catching out a little support, making a pull, or maybe finding someone jungling. Will they find anyone? We'll have to wait and see.
I mean, the Storm's still going to be sitting here for another good 10 seconds, so they actually should be able to get the snowball here. They're going to be moving right to it. They'll see the smoke break. They'll know, and they'll should wait. Nope, going right in, right on to Nusham, and he's actually going to take the brunt of it. The problem is, although the Storm doesn't die, it looks like the stack is going to go against him, so that really bites. Swindle is happy to claim this one for himself, and if Francis doesn't leave it alone, then he's going to be in for some trouble.
He's like, no, but it's my stack. I got to get something out of it. He still waltzes in and does manage to look like get a couple of them. And Complexity just take what they can and run.
It's funny because if they try to snowball him, he can actually just go to the cliff, and then they'll be stuck on the cliff. So they actually couldn't really pressure him too hard anyways.
Oh, you're right. A little bit of that Moscow 5 action that we saw way back in the day. Here we go. They're still, though, having Swindle adventure away from his mid lane here and just have Way2 kind of soak up some solo XP. And they'll just kind of take whatever remaining stacks are in the jungle here, with MJW kind of being his bodyguard.
Yeah. This is probably Complexity's first really big movement, though. This actually sweeps away a lot of what would otherwise be guaranteed farm for Imagine. So Complexity are striking back pretty hard just in the farm game after that rotation. I really like that. Tusk is about to hit level 6. Clockwork is just already there. So I think those guys getting involved in the fights is going to make things a lot more interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious whether that spark is going to start flying here at the bottom with MJW getting his level 6 now, and then we'll force out this Jenkins to rotate, which he doesn't have a TP scroll yet, but actually is considering heading towards this mid lane. Nah, it looks like he'll double back for now. But look who's on the loose here, MJW and Z-Freak. Moving away, they're going to be able to scout them out, moving back in, so Nusham will pull back and away. Alright, just Complexity, just feeling like they got a bit of a better position here once the level 6s come on. And they're starting to head towards this mid lane blaze. They want the Storm. There's going to be the trap. He's able to jump back. And no, they're just going to try to keep him back in focus and set on the tower, even committing a tombstone.
Nope.
Really don't want him to deny it, and they are able to grab it. Swindle will get the last hit. Do Imagine converge. It looked like Jenkins was going to head that way, but they decide not to and just let them take it.
Nah, it seems the best that way. I mean, the Juggernaut's already putting a lot of pressure on the top anyways. I really like Complexity's staggered attacks. They literally just made it 2 hits from death, and were as patient as needed to make sure the Storm didn't grab it, because otherwise a ball deny would be very frustrating for Complexity. They are patient, they commit the tombstone, they get the tower, and I think they're going to get some key items out of that. Desolator for the TA, Mask of Madness for the Juggernaut, that's going to be allowing them to do a lot. But here, I think they're going to try to defend the top, or at least get the deny guaranteed.
Leading with a good hit on to Z-Freak. Ziz is like, sorry, buddy, see ya. Got the tower. And he's gone. And it'll be a quick pick, taking out just the little, very, very selfless Undying.
And immediately going bottom to farm. Ziz is really just going to be putting himself up there as far as building up net worth. He's right now 2nd place to his own TA, and yeah, I expect some pretty big items to come out of him too. But meanwhile, 4-man movement up top. No hook shot, so they don't really have great initiation, but they should have enough just raw damage to bring this tower down before Complexity get too much down bottom. And they know, oh, this is because Juggernaut TP too. Ziz can't do anything top, and so they're just going to go ahead and take a free tower.
No song yet, unfortunately, for Imagine in case the rotations do come. And on cue, one pops up right into a snowball here. And Z-Freak then is going to drop the tomb. They roll in for Jenkins. Cog's going to go out. MJW relocates here, but oh, they do move in. Big sonic wave, and they quickly take out both MJW and Z-Freak. Now it's Swindle. Considers going toe-to-toe here. Gets big damage onto Storm. Tries to stay in fight, but now everyone looks to converge. Wave 2 is now shown up. Still not level 6 for him. He is so damn close, but can't quite get it. Tower is going to get denied bottom, it looks like. Or no, Tower's going to be taken down bottom from Ziz all the meanwhile. Yeah. But when the dust settles, Imagine take out 2 and lose nobody.
Yeah, they made some really good movements there, especially Jenkins getting the early TP out. They probably shouldn't have wasted their time with the TA without detection. There's no way you kill a mill TA in that situation without it. But still, they make the better trade, even though the Juggernaut does finish off that tier 1.
Now Ziz continues to farm up. Comes across a nice little sweet double stack. And will proceed to take it down. He's being pinged out currently from Jenkins. He'll see if he can cross paths. If he can stay near the creeps, he won't have to worry about Omni-Slash Jenkins! Oh god, now he's got to turn back the other way. He does go down. Ziz is looking to TP away, but no, it's canceled! I don't know why it got canceled! The slippery plays just bounce from one target to the next. It's a virus! Oh god, now they move in. They're going to get the uppercut. Witch Doctor gets annihilated. Oh man, what a slippery slope. But Complexity will take down 2, but they lose. There's his Juggernaut. What the hell happened there?
He literally just didn't. He canceled his TP. I'm assuming he doesn't have that one option where you can make it so that you have to actually submit a stop command to prevent. I guess it's just teleports. Other channels you can stop, but it's like I don't know. One way or another, that TP was not interrupted. He did cancel it. That was a big mistake, and it cost him his life. Of course, you can also say that Jenkins did feed there a bit by not gluing to the Ancients when they were pretty much his safety net.
Yeah, I was like, oh, just get right in there, drop the cogs, and if he omnis, it's still plenty of time, and I know unless he has the worst luck on the earth, he'll be able to soak up the little bits of damage that come, and the team would be able to converge, but it didn't work out that way, unless they still get their Jug, and Complexity go right into the pit here with Swindle, and that Desolator do work. Very low. Song those coming! And that means this Roche can be cleaned up quickly. They're just going right onto it. Huge. They didn't grab it, though. They got it now. He picks it up, and immediate death. They get a big Winter's Curse. MJW's going to go right for Nusham. Your Naga's going to be able to wand up, but is barely alive, trying to run away from the zombies. It looks like Francis is going to be able to go up to the north. Ball lightning away. Shibby will also blink out from trouble. They will be able to move in, take the Roche, snag the Aegis, and make it away, only losing their Naga.
Really solid stuff there. It looked dicey for KotLGuy because he got hit by the Meld Strike and then a double crit from the Juggernaut, but he still gets out with his second life. And yeah, the song is obviously a big commitment, 3 minutes, but I would say that's definitely worth it to break out the Aegis momentum. Now we're going to see Witch Doctor trying to hold the line, Death Ward coming out, and the Snowball's not targeting him.
Oh, that means that he's able to get off a huge ward. So much damage on the Ziz. It's going to make for an easy cleanup from Shibby. Now they go back on in. It's going to get a catch easily on the MJW, who's just trying to get the cold embrace. Now Wave 2 and Swindle's looking to retreat. What a beautiful step in front, though, from Shibby. Blocks Swindle in place. He's going to be forced to man fight. They do manage to take down Shibby, but Swindles will not be able to survive. He goes down thereafter. Picked up, of course, from Francis. Wave 2 with the last bits of Urn. Comes back in for a bit of help, and look at Z-Freak go! The zombie has been unleashed, and he is just plaguing through the whole team. Rocks down 2, going for the triple, and he gets it done. Nice. The undeniable beast. Look at all the decay charges, just muscles his way through. And he is 3.2K. He went from near lowest net worth in the game right up to the middle because of that alone.
Oh, that's insane. That is 1,300 gold from one tiny fight. Absolutely perfect from Z-Freak, and the Stormstormer just lacked the mana. They did have the Sentry Ward in that fight, so they did bring down Swindle in a reasonable amount of time, but still, the zombies kept racking up, and Z-Freak got so much decay out of that too. So really a good commitment there from the big zombie man, and it worked out pretty well. But I gotta say that the fact that they were even in that situation comes down to the fact that MJW didn't put enough focus on the Witch Doctor. Really easy Death Ward came out from Flying Zebra that was snowballed, and it wasn't Walrus punched, even though at least one of those was an option.
Yeah, it looked like he committed for the snowball earlier, even though the first thing that led out into the fight was the TPs to drop and then Witch Doctor putting out the coconut. And I guess at that point you could wager to make the go onto him, but bottom lane's where the snowball goes out. Still catches onto the Storm with a smaller jump, but now they look to turn back onto him. There goes the tombstone. And quickly, Francis says, I do not want to go for that again. What did Z-Freak end up picking up? Look at this. Double Oblivion Staff. He's going right for an Orchid. He hates this Storm Spirit and does not want him to be able to get away.
Yeah, if anybody can punish it, I mean, that burst of gold, that surge of gold is going to allow them to. And although it is very weird to see that, in fact, it might be the first one ever, it is going to be a very effective item this game. The Storm Sword is nowhere near his BKB or Yules because of the fact that he's still working on the Bloodstone and will be for some time. This Orchid is coming out at a very surprising time because of all that kind of comeback gold density just falling on his shoulder. I guess it's not technically comeback gold because you look at the net worth graph, they've been in advantage this whole time, but he's still getting a huge burst when he would normally be in destitute thanks to being a 4-position support. So yeah, Orchid Undying before 17 minutes. Don't see that every day.
MJW just kind of strutting confidently in this top lane like he's got an easy lane to work with here, but he has no Blink Dagger, and he just used Snowball. So here goes Shibby. He's like, hey, no problem. I'm going to jump in there. Quick little Shadow Strike. Jenkins comes in like a trapeze artist, smacks him on the back with a hook shot. They trap him in place, and MJW will go down. Just what feels like an effortless gank movement here from Imagine, and they're going to be able to punish the Tusk, but Complexity try to balance out that aggression by now moving down this mid lane. They have Z-Freak smoked up with that new shiny Orchid, ready to go. One out of place Francis Storm Spirit, and he'll be in for a rude awakening.
For now, though, I don't think they're going to look to force anything else. I think it might be a more quiet game until the Roche respawns. I mean, Complexity have potential to surprise. I think they were actually baiting the TA there with Z-Freak's Orchid. He was smoked up behind it solo, and they just wanted to essentially 2v1 either the Queen of Pain or the Storm if they jumped. But as it stands right now, they're just going to go back to doing their thing. They've got the means to initiate if they see somebody vulnerable, but I think both sides are kind of grouping up and avoiding pickoffs at this stage.
Yeah, I would agree. Both taking it a bit passively here to just kind of level up a bit. Would love Nusham to be able to throw together that mech, if possible. But it looks like it's going to have to wait a little bit. Ziz also does continue to get punished a little bit in these fights. He was caught off first in that last.
I think though they might kill Storm. They're just gonna, they can run up to him. They got an Invis rune on the Undying. They can just run up for the Omni Slash, and I think that is a nice kill. He will be completely taken aback.
Here it comes. Tomb dropped, Orchid thereafter, and Storm, he's just like, maybe I can quickly farm the Tomb. No, I can't do anything. No! It comes off, and he makes the jump out of there. See you later. Didn't want to have to commit the Omni, but that means the kill's gonna get away.
Now, he was running the numbers in his head, and essentially the probability of him getting both Omni Slashes that he needed was obviously less than 100%. He decided to go for the attack, but that moment of hesitation, and that is literally a free kill lost. You can argue maybe Z-Freak went like a full second early, but I still think that that is still on the Juggernaut.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Here's Swindle again, looking to siege. Bit of what we saw from Imagine in their last series, but look at this, they're able to catch up. Jenkins goes in, but now he's in trouble. Needs the song to make it out. Gets healed up, but do Imagine stay and fight? Looks like Francis wants to. Goes right for the Wyvern. Sonic Wave to follow. Still holds on with the Cold Embrace. Now gets the rip. Finally, the ward will come out. They take him down, but they quickly get a double kill for Swindle, taking out the Witch Doctor and Shibby before. Now look at this. Francis in a bit of trouble. Will be able to jump to the high ground to make it away. He joins up with Jenkins. Meanwhile, the chase is on for Nusham here. Swindle in pursuit. Traps, slows. Nusham steps back, trying to go for the ensnare, but he just gets hit right in the face with a big meld strike from Swindle. Triple kill for him.
They walk over the trap here, so Jenkins might be cornered. MJW doesn't get the ice shards in position, so Swindle will be making his way in with the Blink Dagger, but this is a pretty big attempt. I don't know. So yeah, they'll just take the good fight. I mean, there was good silence on the Storm. Didn't get him killed, but it took him out of the fight for quite a while, so they could focus everything on the back line. And they did a lot of work with the Juggernaut that fight.
Complexity got to feel good now. They are getting some serious damage on this tier 2. Top tower just goes down. And Imagine on a bit of the back foot here. Looking to possibly retort. Shibby's Ag's ultimate's up again. Francis is here, and they're just going to have to see their tier 2 tower go down. Just not going to be able to offer any sort of response. And Complexity now can feel comfortable stepping back, taking some farm on the way out, and plotting around this next Roche, getting a hold of Aegis and looking to press on and take it into the high ground territory, I'd imagine. You can see already Jenkins preparing, gets the early rocket out, but looks like we have at least anywhere from, what, 8 minutes, or 6 minutes, 5 minutes to 1 minute to 30 seconds. We'll have to see for the second timer. I'm just happy the timer's working again, Blue.
Yeah, that is a real pleasure. That things that have been working for over a year are back in business. That's definitely a nice thing to have here on Reborn. But we've got, I think, some good hit potential from Complexity here. I mean, obviously they have the Trap Scout to see that it's going to be respawning in 1 minute and 45 seconds. They've got the Tombstone they can put on the high ground. They've got the Winter's Curse. I think there's a lot to bring to it, but it still comes down to dealing with this Naga Siren at the same time. Because Rocket Flare plus the Song of the Siren. You see how low Roche gets, you snipe it for yourself. They could easily look to do that again.
Plus, I don't know if, I mean, Aoi praises the use of the support Naga and how he likes to utilize it. Obviously, he doesn't disclose what he really likes to do with it, but if you watch the gameplay, he's very good at manipulating his illusions, keeping lanes pressured, cutting waves, pulling them back so that they never really have to deal with that scenario where it's just all 3 lanes coming at the front door. I'm just curious to see if it's something that Nusham has been practicing for himself and how much he can utilize this Naga in being able to prevent Complexity from, you know, pushing into the base.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really high skill cap hero. There's so much you can do with it. Most support players that are not, like, spamming this hero are probably just looking to make sure that they can know when and how to position, get their and most importantly, time their songs. Communicate with their allies and time the songs. So I feel like Nusham's got that bit down. The illusion control, I haven't been following him. Like, obviously there's a lot going on in this game, but it's still, I would say that it probably is something that he could practice a little bit more.
Ziz returns back to bottom, has the Manta to show now. And Francis did not make that commitment for the Orchid as he still holds his 8-charge Bloodstone. We'll continue to farm up here, but
I don't think he can go Orchid. He has to go like a BKB or a Yules. He has to deal with the fact that Undying pulled an Orchid out of nowhere.
Yeah. Oh, they're charging in. They even committed a Tombstone here, but they're not going to get the catch on anyone, but they are able to kind of take away that farm. But look at this. Possible swoop onto Ziz. Shibi shows himself behind. Ziz is like, I just want to get the hell out of here. I can rendezvous with the rest of my team if necessary. But it's also going to be time here for Roche, which is up now. TA's already got the scout with the trap, and they start heading right into the pit. We'll consider any way to contest this. They'll have the knowledge, of course, as this Naga illusion sees everyone right outside his front door, but can't imagine doing anything about it. They got a storm and a clock. You couldn't ask for a better anti-Roche team. Is it that time, though, where they have to make these ballsy kind of a plays?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. We'll see Storm Spirit. They'll force him back. They'll keep control of their lanes, and then we can see either side really looking to get into it. Right now, TA's there. The Naga Siren doesn't really have an easy way in. Like, they're going to be able to scout her out. They can move the Sigil to scout it maybe, but either way, he has to assume like he's walking over the TA traps when he goes through choke points. So he's going to mess around with the illusion at first, but as it stands right now, it looks like it's just a clear Roshan for Complexity. They definitely had the option to contest, but no guarantees.
We'll have to see what they were able to get done in the meantime.
Nice pick.
Here.
Yeah, are able to get the Electric Vortex jump there on and nuke down the Juggernaut. He does nearly manage to dodge some of the damage, but it's not enough, and Swindles misses the Meld Strike. So they kill the Juggernaut, but Swindles with this Aegis is kind of isolated. No Sonic Wave, but still something to consider as far as an opening. Mid lane.
Maybe committed him with a blink and will be punished for it. He thought he was going to be able to get a grab on Swindle, but Swindle was just slowly drawing him closer in. And they just saw him blink and commit, and they just quickly turned on him at the drop of a hat. And he gets punished for it. So that early pick on his almost gets kind of canceled out now that Shibi hands himself over.
Yeah, baited a little bit there. That was kind of a serious misplay. But he saw 2 in mid. He thought that they had more likely the tusk behind them than the TA. And he might have been thinking that Swindle was getting a little cocky. Tried to put him in his place. Ends up getting put there instead. So we see Storm now finishing up the Yules. Francis will at least be able to break the silence, but I'm curious what else he's going to be able to accomplish. Just moving about the map Is he gonna? Do you think he's back online the way that he was before Undying suddenly got a Yules or a Orchid, or do you think he's still gonna be struggling a little bit in the fights?
I don't think he's back in at least a comfortable position where we could see kind of that Storm play we saw in their last series,
yeah.
but it's making steps, and he's obviously playing passive enough where he doesn't want to just carelessly give away even Bloodstone charges. He's been very hesitant about what kind of commitments he wants to make. You even saw it there on the bottom. If they both were gung-ho about making a go onto Swindle, he probably would have made a committed jump in, but even he was a bit hesitant on that front. Now, and being able to kind of stop Complexity at this point, I certainly don't think he has the tools necessary. Complexity, got to be recognizing that, and that's why they're over here, right outside the front door of the Imagine base. Because any more time goes on, this Storm will be able to get those tools, and could be a problem eventually.
Yeah, all he really needs is Linken's, I would say. I mean, we saw what he did with Tusk against Demon the other day. The Wyvern, obviously bringing the Winter's Curse, single target. You can technically Splinter Blast and then Winter's Curse, but the projectile makes that less likely. Oh, nice Storm play here, just gonna get some good creep clear, getting some damage in, and Chibi will follow suit with the Sonic Wave.
He also got the quick hit on the ward, taking out that from Jug. Tomb's gonna go down. Tier 3 still stands.
Oh, that
barely.
Glyph though. Complexity are really happy about that Glyph.
Yeah, Glyph is going to be down now. Do Complexity recognize that and keep the push alive with the Raxes now exposed? We'll have to see. Though everything is up for Imagine, how good is their high ground here? Song is up and ready to go. Witch Doctor Death Ward at the ready. And they will have another Storm Fountain TP jump if necessary. But Complexity don't look like they want to have to depart quite yet. Maybe feeling like the game is in their grasp. And now they have a BKB, perhaps just waiting for the BKB to come on.
Yeah. So I think they even hasted that out because that's really important to get out quickly. Yeah, they use the speed burst. We're going to see more Sonic Waves, more harassment, but really no full commitment from either side. The silence can be used, and it will be because the snowball's following.
Uh-oh. CoL don't want to be pushing in too deep when they're not ready yet. Swindle still has yet to kind of get that BKB on hand as it waits him back.
He needs it for a second life anyways, so he shouldn't BKB for his first life unless it guarantees the kill.
They're going to get the hit with the coconut. Swindle continues to just hit the racks here. Imagine just waiting out their time, quickly trying to rid of the creeps so they don't get too much free time to chop at these racks. But Ziz starts going in. Jenkins moves in. Ghost Scepter. We'll step back. Now with a little bit of space. He tried to make a go onto Ziz here. Will be forced to Yules after the silence. Comes back down. Will jump away. Jenkins moves in.
Zombies.
That's going to be the song. Kill the Tombstone quick. The Death Ward, though, it's a bit of a confrontation between the both of them. So that means the Death Ward's not going to be a big factor, if any at all. Get the pullback on the MJW, and now it looks like Francis is going to have to hide on the sidelines of the trees here. Rax is still standing, however, Foreman. Oh, what a big heal on the MJW. They get the catch on the Storm with the big Winter's Curse. He's going to be forced to buy back. Now comes in from the fountain. One Rax does go down. Still can't take anyone from Complexity down yet. Zefric's going to get the kill, and that's going to force out a buyback from Jenkins. Now they get the move on in. Swindle, big right-click damage is going to annihilate the Naga, and now they're going for the last Rax here at the top lane. They'll be able to get it. And Imagine already dipped into those buybacks. This is their final potential defense. If Complexity come out with another couple of picks, that could be the end of the game, but it's going to be Imagine who get the first grab, taking out MJW. Now they follow up. They're looking to go for Swindle. Swindle, who still has an Aegis, eats the Sonic Wave. Good damage across the board. There's the rocket. Swindle maybe considering just losing the Aegis here. Actually, will get healed up. His Aegis is gone. It's now expired. He sees that, and they pull away.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because they were actually looking to continue committing. If the Aegis heal came into play, MJW's buyback makes a lot of sense. He goes in, he is able to TP to the tier 1 and just keep running to fight at the base once again. But instead, because they don't get the Aegis, they waste the buyback of the Tusk. That's resources he won't have for the Guardian Greaves or whatever. Blink Dagger will be good too. And yeah, we're just going to be seeing Complexity at least holding on for now, but still overall a really great exchange for them, getting that entire top lane, getting the buyback of the Storm down to 7 Bloodstone charges. And I just feel like this game has really been defined by the fact that the Undying got that one big team fight, that one giant resurgence of gold. Oh, yeah. Because that cut the Storm's momentum in half. He didn't really do much for the next few fights. And then now he doesn't have the Linken's, and that's a huge aspect when you're dealing with this Winter Wyvern, and pretty much him being the counter pick in its own right.
you could just see them all begin to swell up so much from that successful top lane push and how much gold was gifted to them from the racks. Way2 now sports a Blink Dagger on his Wyvern, so that Winter's Curse setup, and we saw how much work it did in that top fight. Now makes it so much easier to get the setup. Ooh, Swindle committing in, but Storm walking back out the other way. Swindle, who had already had the MKB, didn't even have to use the Black King bar yet, so still holds 7 seconds on that. And for Ziz, he's got a Basher now. So, Abyssal Blade lockdown. It's going to be very scary for even Storm to do, like, casual fountain long jumps into him. Unless he's able to somehow, you know, shrug off an Abyssal, a Winter's Curse, an Orchid. It's going to be very scary.
He has the tool to deal with the Orchid, but he still doesn't have the tool to deal with the Winter's Curse, especially now that there's a Blink Dagger on Way2. I feel the fight needs to start with Imagine killing off the Winter Wyvern before he actually gets his ultimate off, and that's really difficult, but they don't really have great control. So we'll look for it, but it's going to be really a tall order, and I feel like Complexity are just really getting their feet underneath them at this point. They've got the Crimson Guard on the Undying. I can just pop that to really help the durability of their team. It doesn't do anything against the Death Ward, but it still is a very powerful durability item that will just take away most of the damage from any right-clickers.
Swindle able to quickly take out the creeps at top. Means that the pressure will continue to mount here as they make a go into the mid lane. Tombstone already committed. Storm Spirit trying to push out the bottom lane will be TPing back now. As tier 3 goes down. Swindle moves in. Looks like the Ghost Scepter going to be forced here from Zebra. Doesn't want to eat too much from Swindle. Now's the song. This could be it for Imagine. They got to get the Tombstone down quick. Looks like they'll be able to get it.
Wyvern, like I said.
Oh, long grab onto that Wyvern. They could take him out. Now, so much damage, though, from Swindle. Almost takes out the Storm as an exchange. But look at this. The couple of others moving back into the base here, looking to go for Zebra. Zebra gets off a good cask. Now stuck between the 3 of them. Imagine now split from both sides of Complexity. Looks like they will be able to hop into base, but Swindle continues to siege. That's 1 racks down. This is going to be the second. Imagine might not have much say in the matter. It could just lose regardless. Oh, Sonic Wave shrugged off with the help of the Crimson Guard from Z-Freak. They will take the zombie down. Makes it 2 down from the side of CoL. Jenkins walking forward. Needs 18 seconds for a hook shot. Storm needs more mana if he wants to chase. And they're getting slowed down from that Sigil. Now they're eventually going to be able to move in. They get the Yules on the Swindle. Swindle pops the BKB and starts manning up on the Shibby and takes him out. Jenkins is going to go down there next, and that could be the game. Newsham is going to be dropped there now. Double kill for Swindles. It looks like Complexity might be able to walk away with a Game 2 victory, and there it is. Imagine have raised the white flag, and we're going to be going to a Game 3 for this semifinal matchup of Imagine and Complexity.
Yeah, I mean, Imagine played that last fight as ideally as they could. They took down the Tombstone with the song, they waited until that got placed, and they immediately win the Wyvern. Essentially taking the Undying and the Wyvern out of the fight. Undying still, of course, has his Flesh Golem, but for the most part, he's not contributing this on the same level that Tombstone. So taking out those 2 was the best way they could start the fight. The problem was it wasn't as clear-cut. Storm lost all his HP in the process. And, yeah, he almost, if he could just get a little bit more farm, 2k more gold, he has that Orchid, then the Wyvern kill is easy. Instead, it was very, very hard, and then that 10-second BKB came out from the TA and pretty much stopped the Queen of Pain from getting to use the Hex. So I feel like, Imagine we're actually really close to pulling ahead really far in this game, and a couple of bad fights turning against them allowed Complexity to just get a firm grasp on it, and that Roche was kind of the nail in the coffin.
And with that, that means that we're going to be going to a Game 3 hype. What was once a best of 3 becomes a best of 1 here in the semifinals. We need only one of these teams, though, to move on forward and face Cloud9 in the grand final. Will it be Team Imagine, or will it be Complexity? We'll have the answer for you in a couple of moments as we get started into game number 3. This is KotLGuy for Beyond the Summit, joined again by Blaze. Catch him on his Twitter at BlazeCasting, and we'll see you soon for Game 3.